Hello, my friends. I thought that it might be a good idea to make a different kind of video than what I've been making, the guest conversations and the video essays. This is more of just a little personal update. We are in March of 2026. That means that we've been about 3 months into starting the project, made this channel Self-Destruct. If you're watching this, thank you so much for taking the time, taking the energy, taking the attention. I know how bombarded we are with stimulus and people saying things on the internet, and I just want to say I really appreciate you being here. I wanted to just drop an update. When I started this project, and still now, I see it as a time-limited project, okay? I'm trying to get 100 guest conversations, 100 video essays, and then maybe 100 songs. As you've been seeing, if you're following along, everything is completely free. There's no paywalls, there's no tiers. This is what I love to do in my free time, create and share with you. I have a really busy life. I'm a dad. I run a private psychotherapy practice. I actually, believe it or not, try to spend as little time as I can in front of a screen, getting outside, moving my body, being in nature. All of that is so important for me. And so I just kind of squeeze this program in and these offerings in as I can. And I've been learning a lot, and I wanted to share some of those learnings with you. I won't take up too much of your time. The first thing I've really learned is how sneaky the internet is in sucking you in. Right from the start, I really wanted this channel, this project to fit my life and not my life to fit this channel. But it's really slippery. And the mind maybe like looks at metrics a little bit too much and worries like, is it Thursday? Do I need to release a video? The reality is like, you don't care, only I care. And I am kind of settling into a rhythm now. There are 4 videos that have been posted of the guest conversations. There's 3 video essays that I've created so far, and there's many, many more in the works. I already have 7 or 8 more conversations already recorded. I'm just working on the editing for those, and I'll release those throughout the coming months. The other thing is that I didn't want to, and still don't want to, prematurely give this channel some kind of shape. I don't have an exact clear vision other than I really want this to be an integrative, authentic environment and ecosystem of practice and community, whether it's contemplative practice or creative practice or therapeutic practice or any practice that grounds us and helps us navigate the world and all of its difficulties and challenges and helps us grow and be in connection with other people. And so I have been essentially just trying to cast as many different seeds as I can. So those of you who've been following along, you might notice that the Substack interface has changed a little bit. I think it's kind of stabilizing, and I want to screen share in a moment and just kind of show you how to navigate if that's helpful to you. It'll only take a few minutes. I don't think that this is going to be set in stone necessarily. This isn't how the interface will stay, but I just want to give you a little bit of an orientation to it so that you can find your way around a little bit more easily. It has been such a blast. I have learned so much. I mean, like 3 months ago, I barely knew what Substack was. I didn't know anything about video editing. I was mostly just plodding along, focusing on like my writing and my music, kind of keeping it to myself. And so this has just been such a blast, such a huge source of growing and development in my artistry and my creativity. It's been such a beautiful way of meeting new people and creating a context where I can engage and have conversations that are really interesting and important to me. And honestly, it's been a huge way of challenging my fears of being seen as a creator. What will people say? What will people do? Blah, 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 all of this judgment. And in reality, just encountering over and over again the ways in which I'm just afraid of putting my work out there and all of the different ways in which I kind of keep myself small. And I suspect I'm not the only one, which is why I'm sharing it. I just have to say it's been so rewarding no matter what happens, even just 3 months in. And I'm really juiced up and committed to continuing to do this. In my mind, it's not a week or 2 month project. This is like a 15-year project that I'm really pouring a lot of myself into. Whether I stick to it or not, time will tell, and it will be very visible to all of us. But that's totally beside the point. My point is, if you have something that you've been wanting to create, if there's a project, if there's any kind of creative pursuit or embodiment practice that you're delaying, you're saying, I'll try it next week. My encouragement for you is please do it now, because even if you only do it for 2 weeks and it brings you something, then actually it will have been worth it. So I'm finding a rhythm. I'm really clarifying what I want this ecosystem, this online ecosystem to be, and I'm going to bring you with me. So I'm going to screen share in a second. Okay, so this is just my Substack interface. Yours might look a little bit different, but if you go on the search bar, you don't even need to type in the whole thing, May This Channel Self-Destruct or MTCSD. You're going to see 2 things. You're going to see my profile, my user profile. That's where you can find all of my notes. That's going to be a little bit eclectic. You see here, I'm just kind of posting random things. Some of the stuff that's going to show up on the publication, but some of that stuff is just me sharing randomly throughout the day. And I'll be a little bit more loose and spontaneous with that. But if we go back to the main search area, MTCSD, May This Channel Self-Destruct, the publication and the profile are different. So that was confusing to me as I started to navigate Substack. I'm not exactly sure why they did that, but actually I'm coming to appreciate the boundarying and the distinction. So for now, this is what the main interface looks like. You'll see all of the stuff that I've posted over the past couple of months, the first few essays, the conversations. I really didn't want to limit myself to any kind of particular offering because I experience myself as an integrated being full of multiplicity, full of diversity. My creative expression works that way. And frankly, I think we live in a culture of specialization that forces us to cut off certain aspects of ourselves. And even if that gets in the way of growth, I do not care at all. I just want this to be a platform where I can authentically be myself, even if it slows things down, even if it's a little bit confusing. So this is the pinned videos. You'll see the most recent stuff here. This is a little bit of a description of the channel. And then up top here, this is the navigation bar. So we're on home page there. If you click on podcast, you're going to see the videos and the essays, which are the primary offerings of this channel. So if we click into the most recent video with very dear friend and colleague of mine, Dr. Broderick Sawyer, let's click in. Okay, so it started auto playing here. I wanted to show you the interface because it's going to be a pretty standard format for each of these. At the top here, you'll find information on how to find the folks that I'm speaking with. If you prefer to use YouTube, I also have a YouTube channel. I am not interested on being sucked into the algorithm. My Instagram is absolutely pathetic. But if that is your preferred medium of consuming content, then you can click on that and it'll bring you to the same video on YouTube. The only difference on YouTube, which is kind of cool, is that it includes the chapters. So you can kind of skip to those different sections. You can also find the chapters by clicking on more down there. And then if you click on the channel itself, you'll find exactly the same video essays and exactly the same guest conversations as you would on Substack. I just wanted kind of Substack to be the home, the hearth where you can gather in all of my stuff really is collecting, but I wanted to make it accessible also on YouTube. So we'll close that. Going back to the main page, a little bit of an overview. This is giving you a quick introduction to my guests and what we talked about. This is the chapter so that if you want to skip straight to a topic, you can do that. And then something that was really important to me that I haven't really found out there, but I think is really a great practice for us to start to incorporate is a references page. So any terms or ideas or concepts that I think people might be interested in learning more about. For me, I'm a huge Wikipedia nerd. I can go down these like huge rabbit holes. And so I just wanted to add these links so that we can all learn more. And if there's something that you want to learn more about, just tell me. I'll try to be as proactive as I can about including those references. Or if there's something that I missed, right? I'm constantly going back and editing these and cultivating and pruning. So if I missed something or I misspoke or you wanted something added, just let me know. At the bottom here, there's just a quick disclaimer. I really believe in democratizing and crowdsourcing knowledge. There's nothing wrong with academic knowledge, but I think there's a lot of gatekeeping that's happening. And so I do, I'm an independent researcher, like a lot of us that are creating content on the internet right now. And then a disclaimer, I am what some would call an AI super user. I use it for a lot of different stuff. I have found it to be extremely helpful in flattening the learning curve, but I do not use it for creative generation. All of the ideas, the writing, the music, the editing, all of the creative choices, all of the ways that I show up, all of the ideas I'm sharing are completely original. They're mine, they're human. I'm not interested in AIs replacing our ability to think. If you look over here in the corner, this is also really important, right? If you don't consume your media through YouTube or through Substack, every episode that I post in the podcasts tab, so that's going to be all the videos and all the guest conversations, also are going to be on Spotify, also are going to be on Apple Podcasts. They just synchronize automatically. I have them set up with the RSS feed, so every time I post, it goes straight out. Same thing, May This Channel Self-Destruct, MTCSD, that's another place that you can find this. If you prefer to read the materials, if you go over here on transcript and click that, you can actually read all of the materials as well. A little bit more confusing for the guest conversations, but for the essays, you might find that interesting if you're on the train or something. And of course, the share button right there, you can spread it to your community if that's something that you feel like doing. So if I go back, the chat feature, I still haven't figured out how to use, but in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be rolling that out because I really want us to have a way of communicating with one another that's kind of fluid. So if you know anything about the chat and you want to help a grandpa figure it out, please let me know, but I will start to post on there and we'll see how that evolves. Music, okay, I am an amateur musician. I produce music. I live perform in a lot of different contexts, but I really like to share. The way that I think of it to myself is as devotional music. It will not be on a set schedule. It's just like what I do in my free time when I need to decompress or change the tone a little bit from, if I've been writing or editing for a really long time. I just like to connect with my keyboard, connect with sound, connect with vibration, and sometimes some things that sound kind of like a coherent musical experience come out, and this is where you're going to find those. Likewise with doodles. I used to have professors and teachers who would kind of glare at me in class when I was doodling. In fact, that actually really was a powerful support for attention for me. I've learned in later years as a neurodivergent individual, having something to anchor my attention is really important. And so that created for me this lifelong practice of drawing things out. And one of the specific practices that came out was these partlings, these little parts that come out and they have something to say, they have a message. Sometimes it's encouraging, sometimes it's sad. And I've just kind of accumulated them for years. They used to be on an old Instagram account that I had. I think Instagram is evil, so I'm not trying to engage with it as much. So I'm migrating a lot of those here. And essentially, I'll just drop those once in a while, little Easter egg, little crumbs, nothing special, but that's where you'll be able to find those and any other kind of visual art that I'll be engaged in. The index is something that I'm very excited about, just to kind of help organize the videos and the content. Like I said, my goal really is to create a long-term archive of a lot of different stuff. Control F or Command F if you're on Mac so that you can find topics, themes. I always try to include as consistently and cohesively as I can some of the topics that I cover with folks. The guest conversations are going to be organized by chronological order. And then the essays, kind of still seeing how I want to organize that. Right now, they're by topic. That might change. I really welcome your feedback in terms of like, as you're navigating this, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, what's intuitive, what's not intuitive. The practice library. This is one of the things I'm most excited about. This is a place where I am going to be putting not just the resources that I find extremely valuable, but also resources that guests come on and talk about. John McCransky, my first guest, talked about some of these things. Claire Maccabee, my second guest, they talked about this documentary, Tara's Daughters, which I highly recommend, really beautiful. And actually, the creator, Roz Doblin, I hope to have on the show pretty soon. There's some yoga materials, there's psychology and wellness. So essentially, I'll just group these together by categories of interest. And this is going to be a living document, a living library that's going to keep developing and hopefully adding and becoming more cohesive over time. And of course, the about page. So you can learn about what is this project, who am I, not too important, why, that's pretty important. And then subscribe. This is where I sort of make the appeal that I'm going to make in one moment. So let's stop sharing. So it was really important for me from the beginning in this internet environment that we're in that is absolutely saturated and swamped with people who want your attention and have a microphone and have things to say. That includes me, that this becomes an ecosystem that does something different than what a lot of what's happening out there. And as I was building the channel, I really learned the extent to which there's a whole back end of culture of content creation that's all about grabbing your attention, taking you, adding graphics, taking an attention span that's already shortened and degenerated by our culture, and then kind of leading you on, selling you things. I'm not interested in selling you anything. I want this channel to really be about slowing down, actually, depth, substance, not stimulation. And speaking of stimulation, I've been using this beard oil. No, I'm just kidding. But you see what I did there, right? And that's actually not what I'm going to be doing on this channel. I'm not interested in selling you products. I'm not interested in selling you AI enhanced apps or a new shower head or beard oil that can make you more appealing to the gender you're interested in appealing to. What to look forward to. I am super excited about the guests that have already come on the show. It's just been some really amazing conversations. I'm really excited for more guests to come on the show. I already have 7 or 8 recorded sessions. I just need to edit them and put them out. I'm continuously reaching out to folks. So if there's anyone you want me to talk to, or if you want to come on the show, I'm not reaching out to famous people, okay? I'm reaching out to people who have thoughts about things that are worth having thoughts about, practitioners, people who use their mind, people who explore themselves, people who value self-awareness and kindness and compassion and tolerance and patience. And so whether you work for the US Post Office or you're at the top seat of government, you are somebody who I am open to having conversations with because I want this to be a channel that represents the diversity of the people that live on this planet, not just one narrow branch of people that then becomes an echo chamber that we can't really come out of. I'm super excited to release more of the visual art. I'm super excited to create more music and share it with you all, the guests, the video essays. And just as a note for that, I don't have a team. Okay, I do everything myself. I have built this channel myself. I do all of the scripting and writing, the filming. I didn't know anything about lighting, the editing, the post-production, the outreach to guests. So all of that work, actually, I love doing, and I'm a little bit of a control freak. So I can't delegate it anyway, even if I tried. But what it's done is it has faced me with the realities of my limitations, an age-old initiatory process. And so I'm going to try to stay as consistent as I can with the guest conversations, because frankly, I think my voice is mildly interesting, but the most interesting thing I'm offering right now is actually those guest conversations, hearing the voices of other people. And so I'm going to try to stay as consistent as I can with that every 2 weeks. Pretty feasible, actually easier to just edit those videos rather than come up with an idea, write it, put it on paper, record it, edit all of that. And I've learned something about the video essays, which is that, as I mentioned before, I am a control freak. And so what I was trying to do was like write a whole thing, read the whole thing. And what I realized is like it just felt not natural. I felt stiff and I felt like I just kind of was reading off a script, which I literally was. And so you may notice a change in the tone a little bit of the video essays coming forward, where I'm going to let go of that a little bit. And it'll be more me picking a topic or a few topics. I'll try to keep each essay to one topic as much as I can, but again, ADHD. And then I'll just speak to it from experience, do a little bit of editing and release those. That just dramatically cuts down the amount of effort and time and energy that I have to put into those essays and allows me to create more of the other stuff and cultivate the ecosystem with more energy and vitality. The only limit here really is my commitment to having good boundaries with myself and not spending too much time on the internet, and the importance, especially now, and I'm talking to all of us right now, in this time that we're living in, this huge time of change, not just now, but also I think all of us are feeling it. The next months, years, decades are going to be full of change. And a lot of it is going to be painful, I think, and a lot of it is going to be uncomfortable. And so I have been extremely committed for myself to spend as much time as I can outside in nature, getting fresh air, moving my body, doubling down on contemplative practice, meditation, yoga, journaling in the morning, in the evening, throughout the day when I can, connecting with real humans, real beings, non-human also, to remind ourselves of what's really important here. Creative practices, staying committed to the creativity, the constant act of showing up, boundaries around technology. So I myself, I'm just trying to navigate all of that. It's really hard to do. I'm totally addicted to my phone and my computer, but every day I'm committed to cultivating the opposite tendency, and I really encourage you to do the same. I have been so grateful for those of you who've really been watching and sharing and supportive and engaging and giving constructive feedback. Like the biggest reward for me is not getting a new subscriber. The biggest reward for me is somebody saying, hey, like I watched that video or I listened to this thing and it really helped me think about things differently. Thank you for engaging. I know how precious your time and attention is. All of my materials, like I've said many times, are completely free. They're going to continue to be free. If you can, please consider becoming a paid subscriber. I know how many requests we're getting from people, and there's no pressure for me. I'm never going to be loud about it, but I'm going to be consistent about it. It really helps nourish the long-term growth of this channel. $5 a month for you makes a huge difference for me if it compounds. Okay, I think that's about it. Thank you so much. Again, so grateful to all of you. So excited to continue to cultivate and connect with you all and create an ecosystem of practice and support and resilience. So one of the other things that I'm considering doing, and I've considered this for a while, and I know that some of us know each other from the context of some groups we've participated in, support groups, practice groups, meditation groups. One of the things that I'm considering is starting a essentially like resilience during times of change group. So if that's something that's interesting to you, please let me know. That is the kind of thing that I might add to a paid tier or something like that, like $5 or $10 a month. But again, the core offerings are all going to completely remain Dana or donation based. My greatest aspiration really with this channel is that it inspires you to practice. Practice, I think, is our most important anchor and support right now in these times of enormous change and difficulty. Practice connects us to what's most important within ourselves. And if this channel in any way supports you in even thinking about practice a little bit more, then it will have done its job. I am a real person. I'm not a robot. I'm not AI enhanced. I had somebody ask me the other day if this was a background. I could, you know what? I'll do it. Watch. Okay, three-dimensional, real talk, analog. This is my home, this is my studio, this is where I live, this is where I practice, this is where I work, this is where I breathe. Welcome. It's very vulnerable to share my inner sanctum in this way, but it's really nice to have you all being a part of it. And I am a human first and foremost. Reach out, connect. Please participate in the chats. Please share things that are interesting to you. Please find articles or videos or links or resources and share them with the community. My hope is really for this to become a thriving practice ecosystem. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. May all beings enjoy happiness and its causes. May all beings be free from suffering and its causes. And please, dear Lord, may this channel self-destruct.